Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Womansplain. Today, we have an incredibly exciting guest, Sandra Powers Murphy. She was, a high-powered player across marketing and finance for many years. Also, was an author of a book called The Road to AUM, and is now the CEO and founder of an innovative luxury performance shoe brand called Scarlett Chase. That's changing the way that women can walk in heels and run in heels anywhere and everywhere they go and support them. Super excited to dive into her story. Incredible, super inspiring. I'm going to pass it over to her to give a little intro and we'll learn more.
Thank you. Well, I'm so excited to be here. What you're doing in podcast land is just absolutely amazing for women. And so, I had a long career in finance, started my own broker dealer, and built a company around helping managers in finance go and tell their stories. So we did a lot of marketing consulting, a lot of traveling. And along the way, what I realized is that women were really miserable in their footwear.
Yeah.
That all the while that I was doing this finance career, I was thinking, why can't someone solve this problem better? Why can't there be sort of a sneaker truly inside construction, but it doesn't look anything like that? It looks absolutely gorgeous. And so that's where Scarlett Chase came from. I did a lot of pounding on the pavement. I have 6 kids, and I always wanted to minimize my travel schedule. And so I found myself regularly sort of, rushing to get to planes and trains and automobiles to get where I needed to go. And again, this problem just continued to plague me. I decided somebody should try to do something about it.
Yeah,
That's
well, I'm
amazing.
super inspired. This is an issue that definitely hits close to home for us and a lot of our listeners, working in corporate, working in finance, and running all over New York and the world.
Mhm.
Would love to kind of hear about your earlier journey. You mentioned you spent a lot of years in finance. What kind of drew you to that industry, and what made you want to, do something a little bit different?
Wow. So I think that what the draw to finance was actually simplifying something complicated. The notion that, my first job with State Street was actually going out and helping people take advantage of their retirement plans.
Wow.
And I just thought so many people were working at all different levels of companies and they weren't fully embracing the opportunity to have their company match their savings and build a retirement. And so it sort of became a passion, but it also put me on the road a ton, and then set me up for wanting to help different types of managers tell their stories. So I think it's finding that intersection of something as complex as finance and utilizing marketing to and education to storytell that I was really passionate about.
That's amazing. And I know, and after State Street, you also spent a long time in wealth management,
Mhm,
marketing and sales, became a really successful wealth
mhm,
manager and led to your book. Um, how were you able to kind of leverage obviously the skills of talking to people about their retirement plans, then
mhm.
becoming really the best saleswoman in finance?
Well, thank you. That's a great that's nice. I think really institutional investment management is the focus that I had, and I think helping managers that think they have something unique, a story to tell, a strategy to share, helping them figure out the best way to position that story, think about who their target market is, how to access that target market. And I just loved going out and meeting these amazing institutions that were allocating capital and the managers that were finding new ways to think about investing in different types of structures and strategies. And it was just fascinating to me to put the two together and be able to sit in the room and see where they might fit and help allocations grow. That's the other side of pensions, right? One
Yeah.
side is the individual who's trying to make good decisions with their personal capital. We should all be saving from the minute we start our jobs and the minute our kids are born. That makes all of it so much easier. But institutionally looking at the flip side of it and saying, how did they allocate effectively for people? So it's great to be able to be on the road doing that day in and day out.
That's amazing. I know you spent a lot of time in that career running around in high heels, and I know that the origin story of
Mhm.
Scarlett Chase was you running through Penn Station, right?
Yes.
And you had to sit down because I think your feet were hurting so badly, and you decided you just really needed to solve this problem. So tell us a little bit about that and how Scarlett Chase was born.
Yeah, there's so many. When you think about yourself traveling for work or being in work, what's the last time you had to make a shoe decision that was easy?
Yeah, like literally never.
Never.
I actually think I actually often have multiple pairs of shoes in my bag and
Yeah.
are changing my shoes throughout the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
have like 12 pairs of shoes in the office.
Yeah.
And you're always thinking, what can go in the city streets
Mhm.
and what can I actually get to the airport in and what can I actually run out to get lunch in
Yeah.
or whatever the case is. And then also when you need to get dressed up for something and you're presenting or you're networking and you want to feel confident and supported,
Mhm.
but you want to be able to get there and back. The amount of mental energy that women have to spend thinking about this problem is really amazing.
Yeah.
What I love about Scarlett Chase is now I just debate which ones to wear. I don't have to
Mhm.
debate what to wear, which is really fantastic. But I think for women, it's just the matter of, you can imagine this day. I'm in New York City. It's pouring rain. I'm running between meetings. I want to catch this train out of Penn Station. I can't get an Uber. I can't get a cab. It's about 10 blocks. There's no way I'm running in these heels. So I took them off and I ran barefoot. And I got to the top of the escalator
Yeah.
and thought, oh, I got to try to get them back on to get down the escalator. And then I got on the train and I called my assistant at the time and I said, geez, this was just like a rough day. But I made the train. And she said, what would you do if you could do anything? And I would say, solve this problem. Like, why does this problem exist? Why are we all carrying extra shoes and trying to figure out how to wear flats with longer pants and what to do? And I think what delayed me so long is the notion that it wasn't maybe highbrow enough, right? I'm in this
Mm.
finance career, I'm in marketing, and it's very important. And what I realized was there is nothing more important than solving this problem so that women can go do what they do powerfully, whether they're standing up presenting, whether they're a doctor, they're a lawyer, they're a finance person, they're a teacher, they're a mother, they're doing these important jobs. They shouldn't be worrying about their feet and they should be able to feel confident and supported. And I thought there should be a better solution.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, finance is very heavily male dominated today. And I'm sure it was when you started out your career and had this problem as well. You mentioned that you spent quite some time thinking, is this an idea that I should be pursuing? Should I be staying in finance? Do you think that was because of, the lack of women and lack of people around you to kind of that share the same type of problem? What do you think that kind of led you to, think about it for years and work on R&D versus just kind of launching it when you had had the problem in the first place?
Shoes are so much more complicated than they look. And I think, being someone who thinks, this problem should be solvable, it was one step at a time. I reached out first to a network of women that I'm part of as an investment professional, a marketing professional, and said, hey, does anyone know a factory? I think I have this idea. And they said, oh, no, you need to, start with a tech pack. And, it's been a road. It was 5 years of R&D. But to me, if I couldn't do something different, if we weren't going to bring something truly different to market, I didn't want to do it. I tried everything out there in the market first because if someone else solved the problem, I have other things I could have done with my time and resources. But I really felt like there was just such a gap for women to find something that solved so many needs. It's not just as simple as comfort. It's not just as simple as having it somehow combine luxury with some sort of performance. There's also other factors that I wanted in my footwear that just didn't exist. And ultimately, building it was the best way to accomplish that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that your shoes are handmade in Italy and custom made. So tell us a little bit about that process. I know it was probably a long time in the
Mhm.
making. But I will say the shoes are gorgeous in person. I
Mhm.
have seen ads for Scarlett Chase for a while, but seeing them in person are unique. So obviously you're doing something right. But tell us a little bit how you landed on your current manufacturer and just the process of creating these beautiful and unique shoes.
I think one thing about starting anything is being willing to ask questions
Yeah.
and realize what you don't know and be so curious that you want to go and figure out the solution and meet as many people as you can. And I had the good fortune when I asked that initial question to this women's group to end up connecting with certain resources along the way. And I do work with a design person who worked at Nike and Atrix and is a real technical designer.
Okay.
Wow.
And then in Italy, we also work on the real physical design of the shoes with my vision of what is classic, iconic styles. We're not trying to be so fashion forward because I want it to be something you can wear 100 times, that you have many use cases for, as opposed to having something just be trendy. And so that combination of resources has really helped us build what I think is really an iconic brand
Yeah.
around Scarlett Chase, and consider things like lightweight, travel
Mhm.
friendly, packable. Our high boots roll down to nothing. And so there's just a lot of different elements about what we're doing. But from a design perspective, when we made the decision that we wanted to source the large majority in Italy, we also make some product in Portugal, and our insoles are actually handcrafted in Spain, and they're
Oh,
removable in most of our shoes, which is really unique about our brand, to have the level of orthotic that we have that is removable. But when we went to look at factories, we were looking at factories that had Jimmy Choo and Prada and Todd's in them, and saying, can we really, as a small brand, doing something so different, work with Italians who have a very specific third generation way of thinking about shoemaking. And I would say that that has been an incredible labor of love, to find the right resources who are willing to integrate our patented parts into the luxury shoe process and combine that into a solution, and in different categories, not just in heels, but now in flats and in boots and in other things. So yeah, and that sourcing process is, it's fascinating, to go see how these factories are making shoes by hand, truly third generation artisans, literally sewing machines, handcrafted. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful process using natural materials to create something that is luxury, but at the same time is integrating these very technically forward components.
incredible. And obviously incredible process. And like I'm sure it was very long. But I also am wondering, when you created Scarlett Chase, you would have spent, 20 plus years in finance and marketing. You had you had reached the echelon, like upper echelon of your career
hmm
after many, many years of working effectively an expert. And then you went to found a company in a completely new industry, had to learn everything new. What was that experience like after, being an expert and at the like top of your career in this industry you've worked for to go into a completely new one?
Yes, and feeling incredibly incompetent and clueless every single day. I would think for entrepreneurs, this is a feeling you have every day.
Yeah.
You also have so many highs and lows constantly. I will never forget, we came out with our first production run. We were so excited about it. We went to this major women's conference. We were selling shoes that were like just in the early stages, just based on samples, prototypes, promised we would deliver them, 60 days later. And I go to Italy to see the final production, and there were some issues with the shoes. And my modelista, which is what the rep is called there, is having a very heated discussion in Italian with the factory in front of me. And I hear blah, 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 Sandra, and blah, 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 Scarlett Chase, and blah, 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 Sandra. And all of a sudden, in a very unceremonious fashion, at the end of the day, she stands up and leaves. And we had apparently terminated them. And my
Oh.
production was now not going to show up. And we literally got in the car, and she said, We're going to a different factory. I'm going to take you to this amazing factory, and I know you're not ready for it, but your shoes are ready for it, and we have to go." So we went to this other factory that now is our best factory. We produce the most out of this factory, and it's been an amazing experience. But yeah, I mean, deer in headlights is
Ah.
sort of a definite term that I would say is relevant. But learning and now understanding really the technicality of shoes has just been fascinating. I think anyone who wants to start something or do something has to have an incredible passion for
Mhm.
it. They have to have that curiosity, or they won't, they won't stick it out, and that's what you have to be committed to doing.
And what made you choose these European cities to have your manufacturing? Of course, it's known for their leather, Italy, their craft. What made you choose, that specific place for each of the parts of the shoe? And how did you know to, start there and not just, be at home?
That what's fascinating today is that it is amazing what you can get with AI. I mean, you have to be very careful. What's real, what's not real. You have to follow up on things, but it is so much better now. There's so much more access to information. Before, you really had to just contact people and hope
Mhm.
people would respond to you. Um, everyone knows that luxury European goods, you're going to think to Italy for women's dress shoes.
Mhm.
I would have actually loved to have made them in the US. That was my original vision. But when you start to look at the craftsmanship that it takes to do this type of quality and to build in this sort of performance components into luxury, you really do need a special hand and skill set and machinery and talented people that this is what they do and they have that eye for detail. And so Italy was the obvious. And then, for example, our sandals have a cork component to them, and sustainable cork is, well regarded as a Portugal staple. And so we went to Portugal to see if we could source our sandals, and in fact did source them there. So we're following where we believe the best possible production is for the luxury experience we want for the shoes.
Yeah, that makes sense. And they're beautiful. We can see them here. Tell us about the performance aspect of it. What makes those heels good for performance versus, a Jimmy Choo or Prada?
Our shoes are incredibly, I'm going to hold one because it's
Yeah,
helpful.
please do. This
Yeah.
boot
But
is stunning.
This boot is firstly absolutely stunning. It's like you want to, caress it. It's super stretchy.
Oh, wow.
It fits unbelievable number of women. We have women try on our boots and cry because they literally have given up on boots 20 years ago and they said forget it, or they never had a leg that was going to work well in a boot. They look gorgeous on so many women. It's shocking. Everyone calls them a hug. They feel like just amazing. But what's amazing to me is they roll up to nothing. So you want to
Wow.
travel, you roll them up to this. You want it to be flex.
Yeah.
It has rubber on the bottom. You can run in this. I'm not suggesting it. I'm not suggesting it. But you absolutely can run in this. One of our colleagues keeps threatening to run a marathon in our shoes.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
But really, the thing is, I wanted you to be able to go heel to toe too, not just the notion that you have padding on your foot, but the heel had the width and the breadth to be able to go heel to toe. So I think when it comes to the shoes, it's all of these details together that make what we're doing unique. But the active nature is that we've taken a literal performance grade, orthotic grade insole that we've patented. And these are just amazing.
wow.
And
Wow.
they come in and out of the shoes. They're removable.
Oh my God.
So if you
Wow.
have your own orthotic, but it just has an unbelievable amount of non-compression
Yeah.
foam. So it won't take a compression set, so it will rebound under your foot. And just it feels like a spring in your step. And so the whole concept was, can we integrate this rubberized bottom and this insole and together create a pitch change in your foot, a 4-foot lift, but also cradle your foot from heel to toe so that you have that mechanism when you're in motion. And that's what makes it performance.
Yeah, these are like the ones I have in my marathon shoes.
Wow.
They're orthotic
Yeah.
grade insoles that we've worked with biomechanics specialists, gait health specialists, orthotics makers. Our orthotic maker says she doesn't need to change out her orthotics for ours
Wow, that's
in our
nice.
shoes.
But you can exchange them, right? So that's like a great upside because they last for so long. If you need to exchange it, you can. Right?
You can swap
Yeah.
in a new insole if you need to. These are, of course, custom made to fit our shoes. But
Yep.
yes, you can take them out and put them in. We do have women, a lot of women with foot conditions.
Yep.
The percentage of women that end up with foot conditions
Yeah.
later in their life, a combination of footwear you're wearing, a lot of women are very athletic, sports things that you're doing, and then you're trying to push yourself into these beautiful minimalistic shoes, you can do a lot of damage. You can also conditions rheumatoid arthritis, plantar fasciitis, all of these things. So having good supportive footwear and being comfortable, it's a luxury, but it's not really a luxury. It's a necessity. If you want to focus on what it is that you're doing, you deserve to have good quality things underfoot. And that's why these are so robust.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible. It also just obviously speaks to how long the shoes can last, of course. So you're saying, like, I mean, they obviously are built to take impact, which is what, deteriorate shoes in the first place. So even though they may be an investment, they last a really, really long time as well. So that's obviously amazing. And all of your shoes are also, they look so delicate, even though they are built with these incredible support. I will say, one, how did you, what was the testing process of getting it to this point? Obviously, you're very knowledgeable. And two, how did you really attain this, look of it being delicate, but have all of this support?
Oh my. So they say perfect is the enemy of good. And people had to tell me that so many times because I took that classic black pump that you actually see there. And we really did incubate around that pump for 5 years.
Yep.
Wow.
And we're not done incubating because we have continued to figure out how can we make it even more comfortable and better.
Mm.
Probably the most important thing that makes Scarlett Chase so different is that the designers, the design team is all women wearing and actively in the shoes. And our client base is women that are not only discerning and active, but they're professional women who have a real need for it to have that combination of performance and luxury. They're not just looking for the logo, and they're not just looking for something that is comfortable. They're looking for something that really fits that unique combination of performance luxury. So I think for that reason, I think for women, they need to demand that as well in all parts of their wardrobe, not just in their footwear, to have the types of materials. We think a lot about sustainability. We think a lot about wear. We think a lot about longevity. It needs to fit the bill for women in every category.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think obviously shoes are a huge problem that you're solving, but in general, workwear for women is a huge problem.
Mhm.
From
Hmm.
clothes to bags to like general comfort and being
Hmm.
able to find something that also fits women's bodies, where it seems like men's clothes are all comfortable, high quality, low price. Like it seems like men in general have created performance luxury since the beginning of time, and women are and now I feel like you are creating this new space that we need to add into. But it is a general problem for professional women of like struggling to find
Mhm.
what to wear to work and changing so much and like what is the appropriate thing and how are we being perceived and how that is important. Do you see Scarlett Chase expanding outside of shoes more to kind of like what this performance luxury category is, which you're defining?
Uh, I do see us expanding in the future. We want to really continue to build our classic, iconic line that's kind of the ground, the base of your wardrobe. But I have definite other issues that I would like to solve. Um, I have a big complaint about bags in general,
Mhm.
particularly travel,
Yep.
the
Definitely.
whole sort of, tote versus
Totally.
sealed backpack
Yeah.
versus travel bag versus why can't someone find something that's got some better kind of lightweight,
Mhm.
travel friendly nature that looks great and is convertible
And high quality.
and high
Yeah.
quality. So that's high on my radar. We did just also come out. I was going to show you quickly. This is not even out yet.
Oh, this is
Um,
Yeah.
this is
It's
beautiful.
cool
beautiful.
because what's the problem with cowboy boots?
They are uncomfortable
Yeah. Very
sometimes.
stiff.
You can't bring them
You
anywhere.
can't bring them anywhere.
Yeah.
That's it. So I find cowboys generally comfortable, although we did build ours, of course, with our patented bottom and our insole. But what's magic about this is it's two
Oh,
pieces. So you
wow.
will have a whole set of booties, and I'm in the middle of patenting this process. So this gaiter lies flat in your suitcase. You can swap out the gaiter. You can have a riding gaiter. We'll have shorter ones. And these booties are just like, they just feel like butter in your foot. They're
Yeah.
so easy to wear. Lightweight and just beautiful handcrafted luxury cowboy boots. But with the gaiter, you have two very different things in one.
Wow.
So that's the type of innovation I want to see us continue to make
It's amazing.
in for your wardrobe on what's on your feet. I also imagine we will expand into bags. I have a couple other ideas too, but I'll leave it at that.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
No,
If you can
absolutely.
find me the person though who's made the perfect blazer, I'd be super excited.
I have a lot
Hmm.
of
I
yeah.
have a lot of
I have a
blazers.
lot of blazers. Veronica Beard's pretty good.
I have the one with the
The
dicky.
Miller.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
But I want something even more
Plain.
soft and like almost sweatshirty feeling, but really chic looking.
Like
Yeah.
jersey. Like something you could travel
Yeah,
with.
something you can travel with
Yeah.
easier.
It's a good question.
Yeah. The only thing is like linen, but you can't
Linen
really wear
is
that.
rough to travel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta
Yeah,
steam it. I know it's a
yeah.
good question. I mean, I think
Yeah.
women's workwear in general is really rough. I mean, especially when you're starting. I mean, it's like it was so hard for me to build a work wardrobe that fit me, especially as I'm so tall. Nothing fit me. Whatever. It's like men's workwear is like a complete uniform built for them. It's like they
Mhm.
literally go to Charles Tyrwhitt
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
Suit
It's
Supply,
like
and they're
$30 a
done.
shirt.
Yeah.
And they're done. They're
They're
literally
done.
done for
Yeah.
like 15 years. Like honestly, that's all they need until they're like really,
Yeah.
really high in their career. Maybe they need one nice suit. Like, do
Well,
you
and
know what
then
I'm saying?
the big thing is the tailors show up.
Right.
The tailors come from overseas, and
Yeah.
where is that for women?
Yeah.
Where
Where
is
is
that
the
for
custom work
women?
Yeah.
for women?
The shoe
Where
shiner
is
walks around the
Yeah.
office.
Right.
What if I run my tights?
Yeah,
I'm screwed.
totally.
You're just out.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
And like I mean, there's also no brand that fits all women. It seems like all the brands fit all the men. I don't
Mhm.
know what's going on. Like,
See,
like
we
why?
need more entrepreneurs coming
Yeah.
up with these solutions,
Right?
and women need to just, the Finding Nemo line, just keep swimming. I was a
Yeah.
swimmer
Mhm.
growing up, and I always think of just keep swimming. I think just you have to think of a problem that is really meaningful to you and believe that it is important, that women need and want people out there creating, and that they'll support the process because they know how important it is to see that change. And it's not
Yeah.
going to change, if we don't if we don't
No.
if we
Yeah.
don't do it, if we
It's
don't get
true.
behind it and do it.
So was your first product the pump, the classic pump?
So our holy grail was to create a basically 3-inch pump
Mm-hmm.
that felt like a kitten heel, and a kitten that felt like a flat, based on the
Mm.
pitch change that occurs because of the rubber base and the insole, the combination of those lifting the forefoot, sitting you back inside the shoe with a really extraordinary amount of arch support. We then realized that there's a lot of women who just said, I'm just going to wear flats. It's okay. I'm over it. I'm done. Sneakers with dresses, whatever they were doing. The reality of it is you need as much support in your flats. It's really important that women have support in their flats. And so both of those elements, our patented outsole and insole, are built even into the flats that look very minimalist. Our ballets, our mules, our loafers. And I think that's super important that women sort of understand. When you wear flip-flops, they're great. I love flip-flops, but X days in a row and then suddenly your back hurts. Or you wear
Yep.
boots that have no support and suddenly your back hurts. So having that orthotic grade support, you can have it and still look absolutely gorgeous. And that's what we're trying to do both in heels and flats. We then did sandals that have also our cork base with the proprietary arch support that is actually a wrapped unit. And most recently came out with wedding. We came out with a
Oh.
beautiful wedding line called Per Sempre
Oh,
that has accessories that are removable, because
love.
I always wanted that sort of vintage feeling of a brooch that I could then use on something else,
Yeah.
or these Italian handmade feather florets that can go on different shoes to kind of extend through the weekend and through other parts of your life on other shoes. So,
Incredible.
That makes a lot of sense because obviously lots of dancing and on your
Mhm.
feet. You should make them for Taylor Swift and
You
her
should be able to
Eras
dance all
tour.
night. I would happily make them for Taylor Swift. Taylor, if you're listening,
We got a bet.
we would love to do that. And
Yeah.
you would love the shoes and you
Yes.
would dance all night in them.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Well, the product is incredible, and you can really see the years of work that you
Mhm.
really thought into it. How did you sell the product in the beginning? How did you do marketing?
So I think what's amazing is that you said at the beginning that we couldn't have done how things have changed. We could not have done what we're doing now with Scarlett Chase 20 years ago, not even 10 years ago. We are a D2C business. We rely on customers being willing to try a performance luxury shoe, purchase it online. So we're very focused on our VIP customer experience. We work very closely with our customers if anything's not quite right. The chance of you getting a shoe and it being half size too big or too small is real. And so we want to support you in that process. And so we work with you through that process. And then we find our customers are forever customers. They will repeat purchase because they know now their size and how it fits. We do events, but we tend to do events focused on professional women because we find it's a necessity, that performance luxury combination. And that's who we're really building the line for. So direct to consumers, how we did it. As you said, when you look at the website, you really can't fully appreciate
Mhm.
Nope.
how incredibly gorgeous the
Yeah.
shoes are. But the reality of it is we have great growth because of word of mouth. We have customers who just love what we're doing and are really focused on making sure that their friends and people know about it so they can give it a try. I think it's hard because when you look online, everything looks good. I mean, I don't know. I'm
Mhm.
sure you've been a victim, as I have been, of scrolling late night and buying something on Instagram, and then it came, and I'm like, what is that? Does it? I don't know what that is. I don't think I bought that. Um, our shoes are such high quality, beautiful shoes that we do think it's valuable and important that people have the chance to kind of look at them and feel them and touch them. But we think it's possible through D2C, and we'll just continue to try to get better and better at how we're able to show that through video and through
Mhm.
other types of communications with our customers.
Have you ever thought of opening brick and mortar?
We have thought a lot about opening brick and mortar. Um, Maybe my financial background keeps me
Mhm.
fiscally very cautious about that.
Yeah.
I want to put all of our investment into R&D. I want to continue to make the shoes speak for themselves and be the reason people buy. And so we at most maybe at some point would do a flagship store, but I think what we have found is women are very willing. This problem is so big that they are willing to give it a go
Mhm.
online, and then when they see that we are very happy to work with them to get them to the perfect shoe and the perfect fit for their foot, we know that that customer is going to stay with us, and they're going to be willing to wait it out and buy online and have the shoes come in a couple
Mhm.
days.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that you guys have grown a ton recently, which
Mhm.
is amazing. Congratulations. Seems like you're expanding into new products. What are some things that you are excited for in 2026 with Scarlett Chase?
We are also launching a square toe line. We have the most beautiful
Ooh.
pointed toe shoes that have an extended toe box. They come forward on the sides more before they point in, which gives the widest part of your foot some more space. But we know there are a lot of customers who really still want a square toe. And so Scarlett Chase is coming out with a square toe line in the most beautiful additional uh, grouping of boots and
Gorgeous.
some ballets and slingback ballets. So I'm really
Mm.
excited about it.
That's amazing. And I know obviously Sarah Chase is very like classic styles. I think that,
Hmm.
then that's kind of the target market for you. Of course, it's a a luxury shoe that you can wear again and again. How do you sort of balance, introducing new trends or like maybe fashion statements that are going on versus sort of the classic offerings that you have?
I like to think of us as the little, LBB, the little black boot instead of the LBD.
Mhm.
Love that.
You know what? We do have some beautiful pops of color.
Yeah.
We do have the brooches, some
Yeah.
accessories that make a difference. But I would say what's fascinating about women is they're drawn to the gorgeous red high boot.
Mhm.
Ooh.
But more often they buy the black one, or
Of
at
Yeah.
least
course.
first they buy the black one. I
Yeah.
Of
mean, we have so
course.
many of our customers that now are every season they're looking for, oh my God, that dark chocolate is absolutely stunning, or that champagne is beautiful, or do you think I could wear that light taupe? And so we have continued to grow the collection that way. But we will really remain an iconic classic footwear
Mhm.
brand. I don't, sometimes when you go into a store and you see some of the most kind of unique, interesting things, and you go over and you kind of look at them closely and you start to think, well, how am I going to wear that? What am I going to wear it with? That is my whole outfit. I want it to be something where it is a statement, but in a quiet luxury sort of
Yeah.
way. So even if you look at, for example, the Audrey shoe that we have, which is really well regarded, has a beautiful buckle. It's an open back mule with a heel, but it's quiet about its uniqueness. So we'll be aware of the trends, but we will never be driven by them. Our goal is to really be the classic styles that you need throughout your closet, throughout the seasons.
Yeah, it's very timeless. You can, yeah, wear this today or 10 years from now. I feel
Hmm.
like you can wear it in the workplace whenever. Have you done any fun partnerships with other brands, designers, artists? Is that something that you want to focus on?
Yeah, we've done a couple of print collaborations. The lining of our mules and loafers is this beautiful print that we did with Sew and Bloom, which is gorgeous. We had them put the SC on the vines, which not many people sort of notice, but it's
Mm.
gorgeous. We also worked with Zondag on a called Bluebell, but it's a beautiful artist painting that we turned into a print that's on one of our wedge sandals. And then most recently, we've done a collaboration with Pono, which is actually a also women owned and run brand, also handcrafted in Italy, but it's resin jewelry. And we
Wow.
have a couple of beautiful heels that have the resin accessories on the toe, and they have matching bracelets that look kind of like belt buckles, which are pretty cool. And I think we will be doing more collaborations in the future. I think one of the things that we will also manage against, however, is making sure that we still are doing things that we think are going to stand the test of time in terms of the
Hmm.
style, that you will get many, many years of use out of it.
That's amazing. And I also do want to talk about Scarlett Chase, the brand and the namesake, of
Yes.
course, like very personal to you, and named for your youngest daughter. Would love to have you just talk about sort of what inspired the name and how your daughter's a warrior and a role model for young women.
Yeah, so I was originally thinking Scarletto because her name is
Oh, cute.
Scarlett,
Oh,
and
that's
I thought
cute.
stiletto,
Yeah.
Scarletto. But then I thought, well, we're kind of the antithesis of what stilettos do, which is are really bad for you. You're up on the ball of your foot. You can't put your heel down, particularly here in New York City. You literally can't pull it down. You just sort of destroy the heel. And so I decided to go with Scarlett Chase, and Chase is also my grandmother.
Oh.
So it's a very near and dear name to me. And Scarlett is our youngest, and she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when she was a couple of years ago, not very long ago, actually. But right when I was naming the company, and just felt like she embodied everything I hoped the brand was, which was to say women can do anything, they
Mm.
can be anything. They can be active and look gorgeous and, take good care of themselves at the same time. And
Mhm.
so it's been nice to be able to support that cause and also just think of her when I am ever out there talking about the brand because she is truly a warrior.
Yeah, that's so special. And I'm sure she's so excited to have you as a mom. And I know you have 6 kids. You've built many companies in your career. How do you balance being an entrepreneur and also being a mom?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. I think as women, we all have to find our own ways that work. For me, I do love yoga. I am someone who meditates. I listen to podcasts. I try to um, take time to look around. I think we often miss that. We're sort of rushing so much that when I'm, sort of the pinch yourself, you're in Italy making shoes, driving through the
Mhm.
Tuscany hillside. It's beautiful and amazing. So we might be stressed trying to get a production run out, but wow, this is still kind of an amazing thing that women can do these things now in the world. So I think I just try to remember that. Um, don't take any moments for granted. You can't be everywhere at once, so be where you're supposed to be, and then when your time is to be with your kids, try to focus there and catch everything. I mean, the beauty about being an entrepreneur too is I can get to the soccer field and I can get to the dance studio, but then sometimes I need to be in Italy, and my husband's amazing and her siblings are amazing, so and she's the youngest, so the others are a little bit older now, but yeah, we've had a crazy house for a long time, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's
It's
amazing.
very inspiring.
Well, you're such an inspiration. I absolutely adore Scarlett Chase and everything it stands for. We have a lot of young listeners, and we always end on this question. What advice would you give a young person who's looking to start their own company?
What an amazing time to be a young person when you can really start anything, anywhere, with really no resources. I mean, you can. I would suggest that it takes more perseverance and capital than you ever think. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, if they knew what they know now going into it, would say, "Oh, I wish I had been like a little more prepared when I did that." Um, but that I mentioned the just keep swimming. I think you have to just take one day at a time, be curious, be willing to do things on the side. Like when I was writing the book, you have to set time aside. You have to say, you know what, I'm going to spend X time on Saturdays, or I'm going to spend X time in the evenings just working on this passion project until it's ready to be born. And so I just hope more women, though, take that chance and try new things. And I think we're in an amazing economy to be able to do that now.
Absolutely, absolutely. And obviously you've had like lots of entrepreneurial, passions in your career, which is amazing. Where can we find you and where can we buy Scarlett Chase and on socials, etc.?
Well, definitely go to www.scarlettchase.com or scarlettchase.co for our Instagram. And yeah, I mean, there's some just beautiful behind the design imagery and feedback from media. But I think don't hesitate to reach out. We really are focused on connecting with women. My favorite thing is when our customers send us pictures of things they want us to make in the Scarlett Chase, chassis. Please take all of your technology and make this shoe because I really love this style. So we encourage people to reach out. But go to the website, scarlettchase.com, go to the Instagram, scarlettchase.co, and start following us. Read the soul stories. We have amazing soul stories of business women, professional women doing such cool things in the world. And Scarlett Chase helps empower them to be able to go do it confidently and comfortably. So take a look.
I can't wait to buy it and run around New York.
There you go. Yes, you should do one of your marathons in them for sure.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, Sandra, for coming on. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. And everyone, buy Scarlett Chase.
Thank you.
Thanks.